Hi guys, if you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Rachelle. Today's video is going to be a reading vlog. I actually haven't done a reading vlog in forever, so I feel like it is time to do one. As I'm filming this video, it is also currently August, and something I want to do before the summer ends is read a summer romance novel. So in this reading vlog, I thought I would just make it a romance reading vlog. In this video, I will be reading 2 romance novels. The first one is the summer romance I was talking about, and it is called Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. This book is so popular on Book Talk and BookTube, and I've just heard nothing but good things about it, so I think I should give this book a try. The second book I will be reading in this reading vlog is Love in Other Words by Christina. This book by Christina is one I've actually been wanting to read for a really long time, but I just never got around to it, so I'm really excited to pick it up. This is also a book I've heard nothing but good things about. Actually, I heard Love in Other Words and Every Summer After are quite similar reads, so besides just wanting to read both of these books, I thought it'd be great to read these 2 books in this reading vlog because they follow a similar trope, I believe. Don't quote me on this, but I believe both books flip back and forth between past and present. That's kind of just what I've heard so far, I guess. I'm actually really excited to read both of these books. I cannot wait to get started. This is so random, but I just really love the color combination of both of these books right now. Anyway, if you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon to stay up to date of when and what I post, and give this video a thumbs up. And without further ado, let's just get into reading these 2 books. Okay, so the first book I'm going to read in this reading vlog is Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. I have to start with this book because it is indeed a summer romance, and it just makes sense to start with this book. I'm also starting off with this book because I believe Carley Fortune is a Canadian author, and I believe this book takes place in Canada. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know I am Canadian, so I just gotta support a Canadian author. Before I actually start reading this book, let me just tell you what it's about. They say you can never go home again, and for Persephone Fraser, ever since she made the biggest mistake of her life a decade ago, that has felt too true. Instead of spending summers at cottage country on the glittering lakeshore of her childhood, she stays in a stylish apartment in Toronto, keeping everyone a safe distance from her heart. Until Percy receives a call that sends her racing back to Barry's Bay and into the orbit of Sam Florac, the man she never thought she'd have to live without. For 6 summers during their youth, through hazy afternoons on their water and warm nights working in his family's restaurant, Percy and Sam had been inseparable. And when Percy returns to the lake, their connection is as undeniable as it had always been. But until she can confront the decision she made, they'll never know whether their love is bigger than the biggest mistakes of their past. That sounds really good, and I'm kind of excited to see why there's some tension between these 2 lovers. So let's just jump right into reading this book. Hi guys, welcome to a new day. I currently just finished chapter 10 of Every Summer After. I didn't vlog at all reading the first chunk of this book because I really just want to read a good amount of it before I form my own opinions. And now that I have read a good amount, I thought I would share some of my thoughts with you. So I am actually really liking this book so far. This is something I really have to say, but it's really nice that this book is set in Ontario, Canada, where I'm actually from. Most of the books I read actually aren't set in Canada, let alone the province Ontario. A lot of the books I read are usually set in Europe or the US. So reading this book that's set in Canada is kind of like a breath of fresh air to me. This book makes references to the Toronto area and the streets of Toronto and universities in Ontario. It also mentions a lot of stories in Canada as well. And as a fellow human of Canada and Ontario, I actually understand the location the book is referring to, and I can picture it clearly. In most books I read, I actually can't do that because the location is foreign to me. Something else I also really like about this book is how the chapters switch back and forth between past and present. I find that this way of storytelling slowly reveals and teases the plot to you, and it makes you want to continue reading to find out what happens. At this point in the book, I really don't know what happened between Percy and Sam yet, and I also don't have any leads. All I know is that they used to be super close when they were kids, and now it's kind of foreign, a little bit chilly. The last thing to say about this book is that I don't really like Sam right now. I don't want to give spoilers, but a little something happened in the past between Percy and Sam, and he basically told her that he didn't want to start anything with her because it might complicate their friendship, and he doesn't want to screw up what they already have. Honestly, honestly, I feel like Sam is really letting his fears get the best of him. And I kind of think he's just making excuses. What he told Percy kind of actually bothers me. Because with situations that are from friends to lovers, I think what Sam said to Percy is actually something a lot of guys say in fictional stories and maybe a little bit in real life as well. I don't know, I guess for me, not getting together because you don't want to ruin what you have is just the person getting cold feet and not a very good reason to not try something out, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Okay, I just finished chapter 11 and what the hell happened between Sam and Percy? At the end of the chapter, he's like, I loved you. And then he says, you broke my heart. That is like such a big cliffhanger and I just need to keep reading now. I said earlier in this video that I like when books switch between past and present, and I still do, but they honestly have the worst cliffhangers. I am now on page 206. This chapter is actually in the past right now, and Percy is currently dating Mason. I have to say, I really don't like Mason at all. And what I just read about what he did just confirms that. Basically, he got jealous of Percy and Sam's connection, and I can see why and all, but he decides to get all coupley with Percy in front of all of their friends, only because he wanted to make a statement in front of Sam. That to me just makes him seem so insecure and immature. Alright guys, it is now a little bit later. I am currently on page 255. This line in the book is Percy's perspective, and she's like, but I barely hear what he says because at the same time, the words I should have said 12 years ago bubble up my throat and out of my mouth. What is she referring to? I am dying to know. Hi guys, it is so much later. I finished Every Summer After by Carley Fortune today. When I started reading this book today, I didn't think I was gonna finish it, but I did. I genuinely enjoyed this book. On Goodreads, I gave this book a 4-star rating. Before I move on to the next book in this reading vlog, I thought I would share with you some of my thoughts about this book. I did mention earlier that I kind of got annoyed with Sam early on in the book, but I gotta say, I actually started liking his character a little bit more as I kept reading the book. I guess for me, you kind of just see his character grow a little bit more as the story progresses. It's really not that he made better choices that make you like him a little bit more, because he definitely still made bad choices as time went on. I don't know, I can't really put my finger on what made his character a little bit more likable. I'm only really talking about Sam because he's one of the main characters in the story, but there was definitely a few other characters that just bothered me a little bit. So overall, I definitely feel like this book could have been a 5-star read for me, especially because it had so many Canadian references. I'm a little biased in that way, I guess. But it's really some of the choices the characters made that bothered me the most, and therefore downgraded this book from a 5-star read to a 4-star read for me. I mean, the characters in a story are so important to me. It's actually the thing I love most about reading. Like, I really have to like the characters to enjoy the story. My final thought of this book is that this book was definitely a very good read, and I would recommend you to pick it up if you're looking for an engaging summer romance. Okay, that is all I have to say about this book. It is time to pick up the next book in this reading vlog. That book is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This book is another Friends to Lovers. I've heard so many good things about it and I can't wait to start it. Let me just read the description on the back of the book for you. Macy settling into an ambitious, if emotionally tepid routine. Work hard as a new pediatrics resident, plan her wedding to an older, financially secure man, keep her head down and heart tucked away. But when she runs into Elliot, the first and only love of her life, the careful bubble she's constructed begins to dissolve. Told in alternating timelines between then and now, teenage Elliot and Macy grow from friends to much more, spending weekends and lazy summers together in a house outside of San Francisco, devouring books, sharing favorite words, and talking through their growing pains and triumphs. As adults, they have become strangers to one another until their chance reunion. Although their memories are obscured by the agony of what happened that night so many years ago, Elliot will come to understand the truth behind Macy's decade-long silence and will have to overcome the past and himself to revive her faith in the possibility of an all-consuming love. Just reading the back of the book, I can definitely tell that it has similar vibes to Every Summer After, which I am kind of excited for because I enjoy the story and the answers you really want being revealed to you by alternating timelines. Let's just get started in reading this book, shall we? Hi guys, so I am currently on page 145 of this book. The first thing I have to say is I am again loving the chapter switching back and forth between past and present. I don't know, just when the story flips back and forth, I find it really hard to predict what's gonna happen, and that's a good thing because I don't want to figure out what happens before I actually read it. The pacing of this book is actually quite nice as well. It's not too fast or too slow. This book reveals the backstory in the present day at a very steady pace that keeps it so engaging. I haven't found myself bored yet at one point in this book. Honestly, where I've read up to in this book so far, I have to admit that I'm liking this book a lot more than Every Summer After. I just find it a little more of a page turner. Also, because it is a romance novel, we know that Macy and Elliot are gonna somehow end up together in the end. But I need to say, Sean, who is Macy's fiance in the present day, he's actually kind of a keeper. Like, he was so understanding when Macy first told him who Elliot was to her in the past and how she met up with him in the present day. I don't know, I just feel like the natural reaction to that would just be jealousy or anger or frustration, maybe even sadness because of how deeply connected Macy and Elliot were. But Sean is so chill about it. It's nice, but it's also weird because it's not something I would expect. Since I last spoke to you, I actually did read a chunk of Love and Other Words, but I didn't vlog it, but I do have some thoughts, so I thought I would share those with you right now. Okay, so I know I said earlier in the book that Sean was a keeper. Well, I kind of want to take that back. I mean, the more I read this book, the more weird he's making me feel. Like, Sean knows Macy's confused about reconnecting with Elliot and what place he holds in her life. And even though he says he knows what Macy's going through because he's been through those ups and downs in life already, he still carries on normally with their sexual relationship. That is just weird to me and not normal at all. I don't know about Sean, but I feel like if you know your partner is confused about your relationship, why would you continue on with your relationship as if nothing is wrong? Yeah, so I'm kind of glad that Macy's starting to see that Sean may not be the right fit for her. It's actually bothering me a lot more than I thought because I genuinely don't think that's normal for any human being. I'm on page 229 right now, and this is what's going on inside Macy's head. We've had zero arguments, we've had zero conversations about what we're doing. I'm sure if we planned a big wedding tomorrow, Sean would still happily show up. I'm sure if I put off planning it indefinitely, Sean would never ask about it. I'm also sure I could leave him and he would be fine with that too. Please tell me you see what's wrong with that. That alone just tells me that Sean is a little whack. I am now on page 281. I am really desperate to know what happened between Elliot and Macy in the past. Like, what could have happened that resulted in them not speaking for years? I still don't have a clue of what happened yet, nor do I have any guesses. But it must have been bad because Rachel, Elliot's ex, literally just blew up and was super mad at Macy upon meeting her at Elliot's Thanksgiving dinner. That was such a cute ending. Okay guys, it is that time of the video where we talk about my final thoughts of Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. It was so good from beginning to end, and I never found myself getting bored of the story at all. It was so good to the point that I gave this book a 5-star rating on Goodreads, which is actually huge because I never, and I mean never, give romances 5 stars. I don't know why I never give romances 5 stars. I don't know. I guess they're just such quick and easy reads for me that I just speed through them and I never really let the story settle into my brain. When I think back to all the books that I've given 5 stars to, they all actually took me a bit of time to read. Like, I'd say it took me about a week at least. And that is not because they were slower reads, but I guess because my brain naturally let the story sink sink in. With this book, I actually find myself a little shook because I also added this book to my all-time favorite list. And let me tell you, that shelf is very, very small. Now that I think of it, I'm a very hard book critic. I just want to take a moment to talk about why Elliot and Macy didn't talk for like a decade. I did not expect to read what I read at all. Probably because the chapters kept flipping back and forth between past and present. Honestly, that has got to be my favorite feature in romance novels now. If you know any more books that have alternating timelines, please send them my way. I absolutely love reading books like these. Something I also really loved about this book is how Macy and Elliot are such bookworms. It's actually so cute to read about, and how they ask each other favorite word all the time. Ah! My heart! What I also love about this book is how you can see Macy's and Elliot's friendship grow from the very beginning. This book literally tells you their entire timeline, so you get the full picture. I also have to say that I really like Christina Lauren's writing style. Including this book, I think I've only read like 3 of their books so far, and I've enjoyed all of them. Actually, no, I read The Unhoneymooners and I enjoyed that one, and of course you guys know I enjoyed Love in Other Words as well. But the 3rd book of theirs that I've read is The Soulmate Equation, and that book for me was just like, like it was alright, but I just didn't love it as much as I loved this book and The Unhoneymooners. That being said, because I did enjoy 2 out of the 3 books I read of Christina Lauren's, I am definitely gonna read more of their books, and I'm sure I'm gonna love them. To sum up this reading vlog, I definitely have to say that I enjoyed reading this book more than I enjoyed reading Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. I don't know, this book for me was just more of a page turner than this one was. The alternating timelines of both of these books definitely made them very similar, but I personally think the characters and the events of Love in Other Words was much more interesting and captivating than Every Summer After. But I definitely think Every Summer After is still a good read, and I will still recommend you to read this book. But Love in Other Words is a must read in my opinion. Alright guys, that is it for this reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have read either of these books, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you have to say about them. Also, comment down below what you are currently reading. I will definitely be doing more reading vlogs and book videos on my channel, so if you are interested in that, you should subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to stay up to date of when and what I post, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Alright guys, I guess I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Pull the key out the ignition. Run your mouth but I never listen. You hold me back, will never last. Keep talking all your shit. Wondering how all this started. You left me broken hearted. You flip my words, yeah, this love hurts. Keep talking all your shit.